Praise is due to Allah, who has united the hearts of the believer in Islam and has made it an obligation to remain united and has made it forbidden to become separated in his clear book. I bear witness that there is nothing worthy of worship except Allah, who guides to the straight path whom he wills. And I bear witness that our leader Muhammad is his messenger and the best caller to the way that is straight. O Allah, send your prayers and your peace upon our leader Muhammad and upon his family and upon his companions, whose hearts were united and whose souls were educated, so that they became victorious leaders. And what follows thereafter, O believers of Allah, I advise you as well as I advise myself, to first have the proper regard for Allah and thereafter be obedient to him. Dear believers, I greet you with the universal greetings of peace. Assalamu alaikum, which means peace be with you. This week we are looking at the attribute of Al-Mubdiʼ, which means the one who originates, or the originator. And when we look at the Arabic language, we know that mu is a prefix and it means one who. So one who originates, same as we look at the name of the Prophet Muhammad, which is Muhammad, which is Ahmed, or Hamd means praised. So one who is to be praised. So this term, this prefix mu means one who, and who originates, Mubdiʼ. And the root word for that is bada'a, and that means to create, to invent something, to take something that is new. And so we give this context early on so that we can understand what this term, what this idea of Al-Mubdiʼ means, the one who originates. And often when we think of, in the Quran, when we think about the Arabic language, we think about the term khalaqa, or khalaqa, which means to create or creation, when we talk about creation. Now, there are two different things. Mubdiʼ, or bada, which means to originate, means it's taking something from nothing, that nothing existed, and this thing was invented, this thing was originated. And a khalaqa takes something that's already been produced, that's already in creation, and create something from that. So this is how we differentiate these ideas. But we're looking at Allah as Al-Mubdiʼ, the originator. And then the Quran, it says, it says, see how Allah originates creation and then repeats it. See how he originates creation and then repeats it. And so often as we spend our time on the internet, sometimes we may look at images and we see like leaves, we see the back of leaves, and we see these networks that are in the leaves. And then we might look at the lung and we see these networks. So we look at these different shapes, these different images, and see how it's the same thing within the human body. And so we think about this idea of Allah being the originator. He originated creation. He originated this design. He originated this idea and repeated it in other entities, in other species, in other things that are in creation. So he originates it and he repeats it. And in our understanding, we think of things like intellectual property, and we think about how people are so quick to say that this is my idea, this is my thought, this is what I came up with, I originated this, I invented this thing. And they go and get these patents, and they go and get all these trademarks, and they get these things because they feel that it came from them. And since it came from them, they have ownership of it. They can decide who is able to utilize it. They are able to decide what the extent of the utilization is, what it's best for, because they feel that they invented this thing. They invented this specific technology, so they control the use of it. Allah is Al-Mubdiʼ. Allah is the originator. Allah is the one who originated the heavens and the earth. Allah is the one who originated the idea of man. Allah is the one who originated the idea of paradise. Allah is the originator of this idea or understanding of mercy. So he has control of it. Allah is the originator of this idea of forgiveness. So he has control over it. So the same way, or to a greater extent, the way that we may feel that if I develop a product that is able to help and maybe save the lives of many, or if I develop a product that is able to ease the pain of others, that's able to help guide somebody in their time of need, that's able to nourish someone in their time of hunger, that I would want some type of compensation, or I would want some type of reward. I would want someone to acknowledge my efforts. And maybe I don't need them to acknowledge my efforts, but maybe I want them to. Maybe I want some kind of gratitude to be shown for what I have done for them, what I have done to benefit humanity, what I have done to benefit society. Now we know that Allah needs nothing from us. We know that Allah wants nothing from us. What Allah, he mentions in the Quran, and he discusses over and over again the lack of gratitude that we show for his mercy, for his forgiveness, for him giving us a path to a better life, for him giving us a religion that will lead us to paradise, for giving us a prophet, peace be upon him, to emulate so that we can carry ourselves in the best way. Allah doesn't ask for the things that we want. He doesn't need our compensation. He doesn't even need our gratitude, but he still wants us to express it. He wants us to express it in our worship. And over and over again, the Quran discusses how Allah has wiped off many nations, and he can replace one with another, as he's done in the past. So he's originating this creation. He's originating this idea or understanding of success. And he's repeating it with other people that will come along and worship, that will come along and show gratitude, that will come along and acknowledge the blessings and benefits that Allah has provided for us. Allah is Al-Mubdiʿ. Allah is the originator. أقول هذا استغفر الله لي ولكم والحمد لله رب العالمين. صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. Allah is Al-Mubdiʿ. And so we talked about this term bada, which means to create or to invent. And we think about some of the things that we do, some of the things that maybe we have built, but it was only because we saw the creation of Allah. It was only because we saw what Allah had originated and decided maybe in some way this could benefit me. So we saw the cave that Allah may have placed on a space, and we saw how it provided us shelter. We saw how it kept us safe from the elements. And as time went on, we realized that maybe we don't have the mountains. Maybe there aren't enough caves for everybody. So we took this design and this understanding of maybe I can create a shelter similar to this and place this and we can live in. And as time went on, we began to put the different amenities in it. We begin to get running water, toilets, we begin to get air conditioning. We begin to get all these things inside of this this dwelling, this place for us to live in, based off this original idea, this thing that originated this cave, this space in a mountainside or in a hill. And then we thought about how can we move from one place to another. So we see the horse, we see the donkey, we see the cow, we see the camel, we see all these animals that have the ability to move. And we can say, well, maybe I can ride on this. It's big enough for me to ride on. It helped me get across long distances where I'm not so tired. So we begin to ride on it. Then we begin to attach things to it. And then it becomes, it's not as feasible for us to have this many animals, but we want to go faster. We want to go farther. We're starting to see where it's not as efficient to try and take a horse across country. So we begin to develop engines. We begin to develop vehicles. We begin to develop all these things to emulate or to do the same thing that Allah originated in this animal. And then we want to travel great distances. We want to fly. We see the bird, this thing that Allah originated. We see this bird and we try and figure out how can we do this and develop airplanes, develop helicopters, develop all these modes of transportations, all these facilities for us to live and do business in based off of what we saw in Allah's creation, that Allah originated. Allah is Al-Mubdiʼ, the originator. And the things that we have developed in our life, the science that we have developed, is all based on Allah's creation, based on what Allah has originated. Allah has taken from nothing and created. And so Allah is also the originator of mercy. Allah is also the originator of forgiveness. And Allah doesn't need it from us. He doesn't need our accolades. He doesn't need us to sing his praises. He doesn't even need us to worship him for him to still be Allah, to still be the creator, the one who created, to be Al-Mubdiʼ, the one who originated. But he tells us to do that for our own souls. He tells us to do that for our own benefit. Allah is Al-Mubdiʼ. Allah is the original. So dear believers, as we move into this new year, as we begin to think on new ideas, as we begin to make these transitions, as we begin to make all these resolutions, find something new about ourselves, new year, new me. We want to originate a new perspective. Let's remember that Allah is Al-Mubdiʼ. Allah is the originator. Allah is the originator of the idea that you have. So dear believers, let's be grateful. Let's show gratitude to our Creator. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم. إن صلاتي ونسكي ومحياي ومماتي لله رب العالمين لا شريك له وبذلك أمرت وأنا أول المسلمين. الحمد لله رب العالمين. آمين.